Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Devils TV. Now today's topic, as you can see by the thumbnail, is going to be talking about Ralf Rangnick and was sacking him the right decision. Now for me, it wasn't the right decision whatsoever. Ralf Rangnick to me was going to help us rebuild this football club because as we see of today, we're in the mud completely. United are dreadful at the moment and I feel like keeping Ralf Rangnick for an extra year while Ten Hag was just getting used to the league, the recruitment side of Rangnick would have helped us so much, and I feel like getting rid of Rangnick is going to cost us as much as a lot of other reasons due to with United, but I feel like Rangnick could have helped us a lot more this summer. Now with Rangnick, he was brought in January or February, I'm not too sure, but he was brought in and the club announced him as the current interim manager until the season was over, and then the fans were led to believe that he would go upstairs after the season was over and help with the likes of recruitment, transfers, etc. And as we know, Rangnick was a very honest man during his press conferences. He would call out players, he would tell what was wrong with the club, what needs fixing, etc, etc. He even said one of his famous quotes that 8 to 10 new players should be coming in because a lot of these players just aren't good enough. And you can tell that Manchester United rebelled against him. I personally think that he was never meant to go upstairs after the season was over. I always thought, like now especially, it was just brought in to steady the ship and get us through the season, and we just didn't look at him properly enough, and it's going to cost us, like I've said. Now with Rangnick, I personally feel that Rangnick was done over massively, because now we look at the Ten Hag situation. We've lost our first 2 games of the season against Brighton and Brentford. Ten Hag has had 6 weeks to coach this team and drill into him. He's had many games with him and he's tried to drill in his tactics, how he wants to play, etc, etc, and these players just haven't done it for him so far. And we don't know, under Ten Hag, players might improve, players might not improve, might even get worse, we don't know. Only time will tell. But with Rangnick, he said that he wanted some players. He said the midfield was a shambles. He said we need another forward because of the situation with Mason Greenwood, Martial leaving on loan at Sevilla at the time, Donny van der Beek went on loan to Everton. So Rangnick did want signings, and the club said to him, no, we're saving the money for the summer window with the new manager. So pretty much get done with what you've got. Now, let me ask you something. Where is that money from January that the Glazers were supposed to have saved? Because, to my knowledge, they've took out 30 million of dividends this year alone, and we're only in August. So, who knows what else the Glazers are going to take out. Now, I believe it was about 30, I think it was 26 to 30 million the Glazers took out of dividends. That could have got us the likes of Zakaria, who was nearly a free agent at the time. I think Juventus, no, it wasn't Juventus, was it? It was, who was it that he came from now? Anyway, Zakaria was a great holding midfield. He was in the Bundesliga, that was it. He was a player in the Bundesliga. And Zakaria is a very strong and good holding midfielder. Something that United lack. Well, we don't have a holding midfielder. We're trying to sell James Garner, for God's sake. And James Garner is better than Fred and McTominay combined. And we're trying to sell him today because he's our most sellable player at the moment, because he's an exciting prospect. But I don't think we should be selling Garner, but we'll get onto that another time. But the likes of Zakaria, Rangnick wanted him. He also wanted a player called Kamara, who's now at Aston Villa. And he also wanted Julian Alvarez, who is obviously now at Manchester City. So he gave them 3 names off the top of my head, right? And he named other players as well. But when the club would say to him, oh, there's no players on the market, we'll save the money for the summer transfer window for the new manager, Rangnick would turn around to him and said, well, there is players on the market, I can give you this list. And it's just sad because Rangnick really got done over. Because if the Glazers weren't selfish and decided to not take out the dividends and give Rangnick that 26 to 30 million, United could have got Champions League football. And it's just a joke, in my opinion, because Rangnick, if you're bringing an interim manager in, whether the new manager likes the signings or not, put him on a short contract, put him on a 2-year contract or 3-year contract. So then when you sell them players, if they don't work out for the new manager, you can sell them on for a reasonable price. So you're not stuck with them for 6 years. So I'm not being funny, but the club, again, made an idiotic decision. And I'm not being funny, but when it came to Rangnick, I personally thought he was a decent manager, well, interim manager at the time. He's now Austria's national coach, and you know, we saw him in the summer with the not the Euros, what was it? The friendlies. He played really well. They beat France. They beat a numerous amount of teams. David Alaba, who's a Champions League winning Real Madrid centre back, really likes him, and he understands what he tried to play. Now, when Rangnick first came in, his first game was against Crystal Palace, which we won 1-0. Fred scored, of all players, of course Fred scored. I think it was that wonder from the outside of the box, and it went in somehow. Just Fred luck, to be honest. But yeah, Rangnick had a decent start to the season, but as we know, the players dipped form very quickly. They gave up on him, and I'm not being funny. You know, as we know with these players, they down tools very easy. It doesn't take a lot for them to drop their heads and give up. So with Rangnick, it's just a very disappointing way to see the way he went, because at the end of the day, Rangnick was a good decision to bring into the club, but United yet again messed it up. And I do feel really sorry for Rangnick, because I mean, he's doing well now. He's got a job as an Austrian head coach, but I really think that keeping him this season would have helped Ten Hag a lot, and that's what I'm going to get onto now. So as we said early in the video, that Rangnick would have gone upstairs, as that's what we were told to believe, that he'd go upstairs and be head of recruitment, okay? And Murta and Arnold, pretty much, they're the ones who sacked him, as well as the Glazers, obviously, but because they thought they could do the recruitment themselves, and now we're panicking because we've got 2 weeks tomorrow left of the transfer window, so we have literally 15 days left of the transfer window. We've not got Frankie de Jong, we've not got a forward, we've not got a right back, we've got no midfield. It's a complete joke. The only signings we've currently made is Ericsson, who was a free transfer, Malacia, who's a backup left back who's now better than our current left back in Luke Shaw, and Lisandro Martinez, who cost us way over budget, who was about, I think it was 56 million we paid for him or something stupid like that, when he was worth about 30. Because I remember Arsenal came in for Martinez, and United upped the price by outbidding him because they wanted the player. But what everyone seems to forget is that Ten Hag didn't want Martinez at first. He wanted Timber. Jurrien Timber, I think his name is, who's a right-sided centre-back, who's blistering fast, very good in the air, and very strong. And he's much better than Martinez, in my opinion. Now, I'm not giving up on Martinez yet. He's not had a good start to the Premier League, because he's being 5'10" is quite short for a centre-back. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets moved into the holding midfielder role, and then the likes of Varane and Maguire will make a partnership. And I know we all don't want Maguire playing because he's absolutely dreadful at the moment, as a bunch of other players. But with the likes of Maguire and Bruno and Rashford and McTominay, Fred, Shaw, a lot of players aren't good enough at the moment, Dalot included. Now, I personally think that keeping Rangnick this season, he would have made sure we would have got great bargains for players. He would be able to convince players from the Bundesliga who are young, hungry, because that's what he talked about in press conferences. We need to stop going for more aging players. We need to go for players on their first or second pro contract and get hungry players in, players who will fight for the badge. And we haven't got any of that. We've got Cristiano Ronaldo, one of the greatest players who've ever lived, who's got a winning mentality, who's passionate about the game, who wants to leave. And again, we'll get on to Ronaldo another time because it's just a massive mess at the moment. But I personally think with Rangnick, he could have convinced many players to join our club. The likes of Lema, the likes of maybe Nkunku, the likes of maybe Sesko, who's now gone to RB Leipzig, who was at Salzburg. He can convince a lot of players, and he has a lot of power because he's very well respected in German football. And it's gutting for me because I personally believe that Rangnick would have got us great deals. He wouldn't have made us overpay for certain players, and he would have helped Ten Hag get great deals because unlike United's current scouting and recruitment network, who spent 3 months plus now it is with Frankie de Jong, and we still haven't got him. Last night we had rumours or leaks coming out that United's offer for de Jong has now expired because we took 3 months to do. We literally could have gone to Barcelona in June and said, right, we want Frankie de Jong, here's 70-ish million, pay up now and accept the deal. But now what's happened is United have pussied about and just messed up the deal entirely. Now we know Barcelona are in a mess at the moment as well, and they might be also to blame with the length of this Frankie de Jong deal has took. But with the whole situation around Frankie de Jong, it's absolutely draining. We're now being told that the deal's worth up to about 80 million, plus he's supposed to be one of the highest paid players at the club between Ronaldo and De Gea. Now I think Ronaldo's on about, I think he's on around 450 to maybe 500k a week, when De Gea is on 375 grand a week, and that's what De Jong was supposed to originally be on. But with Barcelona owing Frankie de Jong 17 million in owed wages, United have now going to have to re-offer him money, so probably increase his wage a lot and also give him a stupid signing on bonus. So Frankie de Jong is now just coming for the money. He would have preferred to stay in Barcelona, as we all know, but Ten Hag wants him, and at the moment it's just one of them situations because United fans want Ten Hag to be back. So we want him to get his players, but so far it hasn't happened. He wanted Darwin Núñez, who's now at Liverpool. He wanted Timber. He wants Dumfries, who's a solid right back, and he also wants Frankie de Jong, plus other players we don't know about. We're linked to players out of pure desperation. This morning we've been linked to Icardi, we've been linked to Moussa Dembele. Last night we were linked to Cunha, whatever he's called, who's at Atletico Madrid. We're getting linked to desperation signings. Rabiot. Why are we signing Rabiot? He's absolutely awful. Stats aren't everything. We all know this. But he had worse stats than McTominay from last season. And if you want to play Ten Hag's system, which is this high press, intensity, high possession football, then Rabiot isn't the answer. Frankie de Jong maybe is because he's played in that system before. But Ten Hag, I'm not being funny. You've got Donny van der Beek, someone who else you've developed, someone whose career you created, like Frankie de Jong's, and you're not playing him. You're not giving him the chance. You're letting Garner walk out for about 15 to 20 million. We don't know the price yet. No one's really offered for him, but we know that the likes of Spurs and Chelsea have inquired about him. Then you've got Frankie de Jong sat on the bench, as always, looking at you bringing on McTominay, who played dreadful against Brighton and also played dreadful against Brentford, who also got a yellow card because he's undisciplined. Frankie de Jong and Garner are there looking at each other. What are we supposed to do when he's picking McTominay? It's an absolute disgrace. And like I said, we need to get back onto Rangnick because we're talking about Rangnick today. Like I said, the club's in a shambles and we need to address what's actually going on at Manchester United. But right now, the recruitment team's awful. We're being linked to pure desperation signings, and it's just god awful. And I believe that if Rangnick was involved with this summer, he would have got every single player sorted before pre-season. Or we would have been signing them well before the Premier League started. Okay? Now, Rangnick was a great appointment and we should have kept him. That's my opinion, and I want to know your other thoughts. So, for me, Rangnick was the correct decision and it was the wrong decision to sack him. We should have kept him because he would have helped us out massively. But anyway, please let me know your thoughts on Ralph Rangnick and also the current desperation signings Manchester United are linked to. Like I said this morning, we're linked to Akada, we're linked to Moussa Dembele. The last hour ago, we were linked to Casemiro, who's a holding midfielder at Real Madrid, who's about 31, 32, maybe even 33 now. I'm not too sure of his age, but I know he's in his 30s. And we're just on a downward spiral right now. And yeah, it's a tough one to stomach, to be honest, because when you think about it, United seem to be at the moment can't do anything right. You've got the saying, you take one step back to gain 2 steps forward. United are literally on an escalator going the wrong way, trying to walk up it, and it's literally impossible because they just keep going backwards and backwards and backwards. They just can't help themselves. And like I said, I feel like keeping Ralph Rangnick would have helped us out and we would have had a much better start and be prepared for this season. But like I said, please like, share, subscribe, comment your thoughts on the Rangnick situation. And was he treated right? Should he have gone? Should he have stayed? Please let me know your opinions. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.